was about 17, so that's in the 70s. I had this friend, Jerry, lived in my neighborhood. We were very close, the families. He had a couple of brothers, too. We all grew up together. He had a very young girlfriend, and she couldn't go out at night after a certain time. She was a lovely girl, and he was very committed to her. So I used to go out with him. She was very comfortable with that because we were good friends from when we were children. And she thought better he should be hanging out with me. So it was great. And we used to go, it was, during disco time and stuff, so there was a lot of clubs in Queens. So one night he says to me, my brother owns a club. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say that before? He goes, well, because it's not a regular club. And I was like, oh, what's not regular? What are you talking about, basically? And he said, it's a gay club. I'm like, really? I was very intrigued. I'd never been to a gay club before. I said, yeah, I want to go. Let's check it out. So we did. We went, and we got treated like royalty, because his brother owned the club, and we went in, and the drinks were free, and, it was really a nice place, and fine, we went there one night. It became a regular thing then, after that night. Once he knew I was okay with going there. We would go to a couple other places. We'd always wind up there. I began to really enjoy going there, and now I was meeting people there, and I was making friends, and people would remember me, and I'd come in, and they'd say hello, and it was lovely. One night, Jerry couldn't go out. I found myself going there anyway. This night, this woman that I knew from high school was there. She used to date a guy I knew, and she wound up marrying him and having a daughter with him. They got separated, and he used to come and pick up his daughter on the weekends, which meant that Alice had her whole house to herself without a child. This was very appealing to the crowd we were beginning to hang out with. Long story short, I was going there regularly now without my friend. I was creating new friends there. Alice was what in the 70s and early 80s we used to call a fag hag, a straight woman who preferred to hang out with gay people. I said, oh great, I'm going to be a fag hag too. I love it. So great. So we started hanging out every weekend, and we would go back to Alice's house to sleep. The crowd of people doing this with us got so big that if you wanted to sleep in a bed, you had to go home early because otherwise there'd be no room. You'd have to sleep on the floor or in a chair or whatever. I actually caught her sleeping in her daughter's crib one time. I woke up one day and there was a very interesting looking woman sleeping next to me. I never met her before. I went, good morning, good morning. She turned around and she was like, oh, you're awake. I came and slept over here because I wanted to meet you. I was like, really? We talked. Did you ever go out on a date with a woman? I said, I haven't. Well, are you interested in that? And I said, I never really gave it much thought. And then I remember that we got up and we left Alice's house. We went out for something to eat. It was like we spent that whole day together. And then I didn't see her for a couple of days. We made a date for the weekend, and it became pretty regular after that, that we would go out on a date. She would bring me home kind of chivalry, in a chivalrous manner, and give me a little peck on the cheek at night. I thought it was very cute for a person who really hadn't been a virgin for a while already. But she treated me as such, so it was kind of sweet. It became steadily regular, and then before we knew it, we were together. She was a lovely person to have as a first girlfriend because she wanted to teach me that being gay was more than sex, that living a lesbian life would change me in ways that I had not thought about before. She helped me to see that the sexual part of a lesbian relationship was the smallest, actually, the smallest part. She helped me to see that people would view us differently. I wasn't ready for that. I'm a cis white woman. I think that gave me a certain privilege that I was only going to start becoming aware of at that moment. When she started talking to me about the judgment of people and the way that we have to interact with one another in front of people. Because I was all giddy and in love with my new situation, and I was all holding hands and, wanting to be on her. And she was like, you need to learn that in public we don't do that. In the 70s. I would say that Marlene represented to me the beginning of what would become who I am today. She opened my eyes to a world that maybe wouldn't accept me. In my family, I am the only daughter, 2 brothers. On my mother's side, I'm the only granddaughter, 7 grandsons. I had a very protected and privileged upbringing. Meeting Marlene and discovering my lesbianism, my own personal road, she really helped me to start on that road, and she really opened my eyes to what that road could become.